Welcome to the GLAC studio. This is Gomathi and founder CEO, the guiding light art company building bright futures through art. Today, in episode 4 of the What Next series, Change Management and Practice, we meet Evon Evance from Tanzania, who is just about everything. She has a background in accounts. She's been into art, painting, and also web designing, a consultant, an independent woman. Doing great in her career path so far, in spite of the challenges. Today we sit with her and get to know what challenges she's been facing and how she's been handling change in her life. Let me tell you that we have been having some network challenges with Tanzania, but we have managed to capture some of the interesting comments that she has shared with us. So without much ado, let's get into the show. Oh yes, bright and
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Evon Evance, I am so happy to be talking to you today. Welcome to the GLAC What Next series, Change Management and Practice. I have learned about you through Jack Langworthy, and I am so happy that I will be talking about art and music as well. I want to explore the creative side of you, the technology side of you, and also you have some relationship with startups. So there's a lot that I would like to explore.
Yes.
To start with, I would ask you to first introduce yourself to the audience, to just share about yourself and your journey so far in your career and also life.
Awesome. Okay. So again, I'm Evon. From Tanzania. I'm born and raised here. So I did most of my school and most of my growing up actually in Tanzania. And while for university, I proceeded to go study in Mauritius. This is the African Leadership University. And so like the highlights of it is that I grew up in Tanzania, went to university in Mauritius. I worked a bit in South Africa, worked a bit in Kenya, a bit in Ethiopia, and then just bounced right to Tanzania. Corona, I had to come back home. So yeah, that's basically the overview. But then just to get into details in terms of like my career path and how like it all built the person that I am today. I grew up just looking at my dad always wanting to become an accountant because he was an accountant. So I would always say to myself that I see my dad coming in with a briefcase. This is something that I would want to do as I grow up because it seemed really cool, right? But then meanwhile, I would always watch cartoons, and while watching these cartoons, I would draw them up, right?
Okay.
So I would always catch everything that I saw. Like my dad would take a picture, I would look at him like, imagine if I could give you like a cartoon version of this. So to me, that felt like more of a hobby and nothing really that could ever pan out to become a career or anything. So I just went on to have that as a side thing that I do. I would enter into math while I'm listening to my math teacher. I would draw numbers, but like calligraphy, right? It's like I would always write up my exactly. Like I would always write down and like doodle and stuff like that. I would always write letters to my friends and then always like draw stuff around it. So I was known as this Mickey Mouse because then I always loved to draw this Mickey Mouse cartoon and stuff. So yeah, I would even like draw on my hands. By the way, I always knew I'd become someone that has like tattoos on my body because that's all I did to myself. Yeah, but then on a serious note, like I would always think, okay, so all of this is fun and games, but seriously, I want to become an accountant. So because of this, I went on to do business classes in high school. This is like economics and yeah, accounts, commerce, stuff like that. And then exactly. And then so I went on to do that. And as I was applying to university, I also applied. I applied to this African Leadership University. They said, well, you'll have like 1 year to sort of figure out your niche, things that you would want to do for a career and stuff like that. So to me, that felt like a whole waste of time because I know what I want. I want to waste a whole year of my life. So there, so while at university, actually, I would always submit my coursework in a Word doc format or PowerPoint, but then always I would care so much more about how my submissions looked like than that the content itself, right?
Yeah.
So I always just really loved to submit work that is really top notch aesthetically. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I would always care about the aesthetics of stuff. Like I would submit a presentation that I would do a lot of graphics on and stuff like that. And in my head, I was just like, well, it's just this thing that I'm good at. I'm good with colors. I'm good with like sketches and stuff like that. That's all. It's nothing that could tell you anything. Let's care more about this thing that's going to take me towards becoming an accountant, right? So throughout like my first year, my second year, one of my teachers sort of caught my assignments and she was like, by the way, your assignments look really, really beautiful. You could actually be an intern for the marketing department in school. So I was like, marketing department, in the marketing department. And then they said, you would be doing graphic design. I was like, what is that exactly? Right? So I had, I didn't know what graphic design was. Like, well, this thing that you're doing with your assignment, that's graphic design. Like, oh, exactly what I'd be doing. I was like, this for our like work, for our reports and stuff like that we're submitting to our clients. I was like, that's really important stuff. I can do that. So I guess from there, like just steamrolled. I was like, they would always hire me to paint murals at school. In my head, it would just be pouring my mind into a wall, and I never thought of it as anything that could potentially give me a whole career. Like I felt like I was stealing from them that they were paying me to paint. I've always painted my whole life, never as a career, never as something that is capitalist or whatever. So yeah, so from there I jumped on to becoming from study intern to like intern, and then I just started doing like the full-time marketing at my university. It's like really connected. So with that, I was connected to work in South Africa for this other company as a designer. Jumped onto Ethiopia to a different company to work as a designer and marketing strategist, blah, blah, blah. And then I went back. I went to Kenya for a second there, but Corona hit, and then I had to come back home where I worked with Jack. This is Jack Ninayo. And there I was like the CMO. And he was like, "You're the youngest CMO I've ever seen." But yeah. But yeah, I worked as that there, and then yeah. So right now, I'm like all over the place. I work for like a bunch of companies as their designer, web designer. I have like my own mini agency that deals with exactly that, web design and painting and sketching, you name, and stuff like that. So and I do so with music. I perform on like events, say weddings. I do competitions and stuff like that. Anything to have fun with. And with Corona right now, it's just jam sessions and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my life in a big nutshell.
Awesome.
Yeah.
May I ask you one thing? So there's a lot of things that you've been exploring simultaneously. And how much of energy draining or energy giving has these been, and how has one of the source or one of the stream that you're working on helped or supported the other, if I may know?
Oh, okay. So to me, I think it's like this giant web because everything is sort of connected, right?
Yes.
Artists, you could call it that. To me, I was just doodling. As a sketch artist, that bled into painting because then it's an outline that sort of just came. I'm sketching on a canvas and painting on it, and then voila, so that's a painting all of a sudden. And then it moved to like my digital space. This is like from creating a website or this and that, like mixing colors and creating graphics from it. So it moved from that physical canvas and then bled into like this digital space where I could sketch my animations, draw my animations on like a laptop, and then from there, like strategizing, not only creating it but creating it for a user and making sure the user is actually consuming it as how you'd want it. So like there's marketing strategy, what would a customer want to see, blah blah. So like it was all like a process that sort of bled into the other one. Yeah.
I see that. That is a lot. And is it like, how is your work day like right now? Because I can see that you are involved with many projects or companies. So how is your work day like?
Like the structure sort of came with time, definitely. At first, I was just overwhelmed because it would come and then I have a client that wants a painting that they wanted. And then another client would say, so where's my website? And another client would go, graphic, because all of these people, that would be done by Wednesday, I promise, right? So hence the mini agency one, where I get a bit of support from other people that are doing something like at least one of what I do, right?
Okay.
So in my mini agency, I have one graphic designer, I have one web designer, I have one painter, one sketcher. So basically, I work with all of them to, like, with them to support me so that I deliver what I deliver on time. So that's support from other people. And then two, I sort of divided by week. So today is my graphic design day, right? So I've spread like Monday, I have websites, so I only work on websites on Monday, and then I have Tuesday where I just work on marketing strategy, like writing up stuff, content curation and stuff like that. And then on Wednesday, I have a different thing that I work on. And during weekends, this is when, because to me, painting and sketching, animating and stuff like that is all fun. So I've placed it all on a weekend. So on Saturday, it's my work for that. Like I do visual art that for clients. So by Monday, I usually just round it all up to say, okay, so every delivery happens on Monday from your painting, here it is, to your website, this is how far. So yeah, I've sort of divided my week like so. So on Monday, I work with that person that supports me on designing. On Tuesday, I work with this other person. So I jump around with these people that are supporting me. Yeah.
It's really interesting to see how you have created a structure around, or a network also to work with you around different. It's interesting to know that you have really created a structure around this to make sure that each and every aspect of, or each and every stream that you're working on is taken care of equally.
Yes. Because I became I want it all. Like I was like, well, but I can do it. I don't want to let it go. So instead of, because everyone was saying just pick one because you can't do it. I was like, what if I can do it but with support, so that I don't have to do it alone. We do it together with someone else, and with that, I got to keep everything that I like to do.
I was wanting to come exactly to that question, because a lot of people would always give you, and definitely I would appreciate such advice also, that just try to stick to one stream, do one thing at a time, and make sure that you're getting somewhere with that. That's the typical advice that you receive from parents, family, friends, and they're all
Oh yeah, they have a point, definitely. Yeah.
I was saying, how was this challenging for you to to be interested or maintain that interest in multiple areas, while your friends or family or well-meaning people are guiding you towards one or the other industry or stream. So how was it like?
Um, oh, I totally hear you. So one thing that I can say helped me to stick to it, because at some point I thought, Yvonne, grow up, pick one, right? Because to me, I thought growing up meant picking one
Men
path.
picking one. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then everyone that, I think it's all my clients that actually made me stick to it, because they said, see, Yvonne, are you about to tell me that you will not paint for me anymore? And I said, yeah, because I want, and they're like, well, do you need me to increase money so that you paint for me? I said, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say I need to pick one, right? So they said, then figure out a way to do this as well, because I'm always contracting you for this. I can't contract anyone else for it now. I can't start looking for anyone else to do this. So with that pressure, I said, oh, to do this and design, graphic design. And then one was fine for us to help you out with your graphic design so you can have more time with painting. And then now that continued with every other dimension that I'm tapping into. And everyone knew automatically. I just had support for everyone, for everything that I'm doing. And with that, of course, there's a week where I don't have any graphic design work. So that basically means I have more time to do web design. So I think this advice comes in black and white, as if, Yvonne, you can't have everything happening at the same time, but not everything happens at the same time, really. There are days where this is happening, that is happening. So with that loophole and me looking at it from like that perspective, like having more of looking at it from a logistic point of view than like a generalized point of view, I said, I'm gonna try this out, because I'm 24. At the time I was like 22. I was like, so I have time to experiment. Like if it all just falls apart, then I'll pick one. But for now, let me just try and work through this. And with time, like I'm seeing myself having more and more support. Like people are like, Yvonne, can we work with you? So I can see myself having like a multi-dimensional agency that has graphic design department, that has this department and stuff like that. So I said, like, I don't have to pick one. In the end of the day, I can have a company that does all four or like all five of these, and I can be able to manage that. Yeah. And I would say that ALU, this university that I went to, it's this like their motto or slogan is always do hard things, right? And build cathedrals, stuff like that. So they would throw in words like that, like, of course you can do it, you can do this. Like there's no one way of succeeding. There's no one way of going about anything. If it's your career, if it's anything, like there's just no one way of going through about it. So if it's working out for you and it's not working out for someone else, keep doing it. You don't have to say maybe it won't work because it's not working for them. So, yeah. So I guess that's what kept me going. People believing in me, I would say.
Yes. Yeah. I personally find this very interesting because I am an accountant by background, and I was also told the very same things in life, that art is a hobby and hobby will be a hobby. You will study, and I did. I have been a very studious girl all my life, and I did do well in the professional level as expected. But then this going back to art has always been there, and that's also a reason why, right now I am in the same stage that starting different things at the same time and doing many things at the same time, so I can connect with you on that level of understanding what goes through the head, and how is it like. It's chaos, but it is structured chaos, if I can say so.
Yeah, it's like organized chaos, right? Like it's like a messy room, but you know exactly where everything is. Exactly. Yeah, I was like, it makes sense to me. It shouldn't have to make sense to you. That's all I always tell to people. Yeah, like as long as it makes sense to me, it's okay.
I want to go back to the chaos in the angle of COVID as well, because yes, we agreed that we will do take care of different things in life because we like each of them equally.
Yes. Yes.
But then this unexpected thing happens.
Yes.
Pandemic happens.
Mm-hmm.
Going through in your head, okay, now can I let go of something, or what
Do I
exactly was?
do?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. So one thing is that COVID, for the most part, can probably not affect you as a person, like and your capabilities of doing something, but
Mm,
it can affect the people that require your services, so to say. So you might be ready to work, but
mm,
the people you're working for are just not ready to receive said work. And I think that was like the massive change that sort of hit with me. That so COVID hit hard when I was in Nairobi, and in Nairobi I was already there working, I would say partially, not full time per se. Like I gave 2 days to this to one of my clients that I would always like a full time, part time kind of situation. And so like I based myself in Nairobi, and all of a sudden this client is like, yeah, I'm closing my business. So I have nothing to do with. Okay, maybe it did not like that. That's not as hard as most people have been hit with COVID, but yeah, with that, I said, well, there's this constant flow of income that gave
mm.
me a sense of security. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, I'm back to being a freelancer. Like at that point, yeah, I was a contractor, like a consultant. And with that,
Yeah.
like I had this monthly income that was assured. And
Mm.
then all of a sudden, I'm back to this freelance space where like it's all contract based. If like I mean project based. If a project doesn't
Yes.
come, then ooh, you're broke, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that scared me so much because I have never been in a space where I had no cushion to fall on, you know?
Mm.
Like, and with that, what changed exactly was my attitude towards everything. Like, I had to become light to change, so to say. Like, that's something that I even ended up tattooing on my skin that I need to become light to change, lighter to change than I was because I wasn't flexible. I knew, so these are my 5 days, this is how I do this is when I do that, but then everything just was moved around, and I had to figure out how I'm going to reach out to my clients, and most of them are like were in Nairobi, and I'm leaving Nairobi. So what happens? Do I go to Tanzania, start finding like a whole new base of clients and stuff like that? So
Yeah.
now I ended up tapping into my network, right?
Mm.
So the first person, and what's crazy is that can change outwards, but if you're still doing your best to be the best,
Mm.
like that will illuminate wherever you go. Like that's something that I've come to realize. Just coming from
Okay.
Nairobi into Tanzania, I've studied abroad. No one knows me here. But the first conversation I had with Jack was like the first person I spoke to, and he was like, "Where have you been? Like, where were you?" So like immediately Jack said, "Hey, if you have free time, just come and work for me with doing this and that and that." And I was like, "Okay, cool, but I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to like get back on my feet." And with that, can then this full time, like a full time job. That's what I was trying so hard to like have. Like, okay, I'm a full time web designer, but on the
Mm.
side I have this and this and this and that.
Mm.
But like working with Jack and then having a new client come in and saying, "Hey, could you give me a day or two from your week?" And I
Mm.
said, "What do you want me to do for you?" And they're like, "Yeah, as a web designer." I was like, "Oh, okay, I can give you Wednesday." And then we said, "Okay, cool. Then every Wednesday we're writing a contract. Every Wednesday you have to come to work." I was like, "I can't come to work, but every Wednesday I'll be at your service."
Mm.
And I said, with that one client having my Tuesday, I mean having my Wednesday, and then Jack having me like on a contract basis, I was like, "Jack, can I just give you my Thursday?" And
Mm.
then he said, "Okay, cool," because I was doing graphic design there and like market and strategizing and stuff like that. So I was like, "And I'm going to be more like your market
Yeah.
strategizer, like your CMO, basically." And he was like, "Yeah, definitely." And then I made my portfolio, put it out there, and then I had clients pouring for my art, like my painting art. It's like, okay, I will have you on Saturdays. And then that's where my structure sort of came about, right? I was like, I could
Mm.
have a Monday on this, Tuesday on that, Thursday on this. And so COVID didn't necessarily make things worse for me. It did
Mhm.
it did shake my foundation. Like it
Yes.
changed the way I look
Mm.
at life, but then for the better. Because if now this is that it structured me by like I don't know, like destroying everything and having me build from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say changed, but
Mhm.
for the better. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to copy your idea.
Oh
But
yeah.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays, yes. I'm going to do
I
that.
know.
Let me
I
see how
know.
that goes next week onwards. Yeah, because it's also
There
getting
we go.
hectic with many things going on around for me, and I'm just trying to figure out how to. I'm going to copy
Yeah. I know, and it's really good if you like have it contractually that I am going to be there for you on Wednesday. So be sure
it.
to structure yourself and give me all the work you need done. So
Mm,
that because if I leave you on Wednesday, then that's it. Like, then you'll see me again next Wednesday. So I'll automatically like for you, like your client or if it's a company that you hired to, like because they're like, hey, Yvonne is only available on Wednesday, so guys, make sure you use her to the fullest. And
mm.
I think that has worked really well for me. Like essentialism has never been better in my life. Yeah,
Way to go. Way to go.
I know, I know.
Awesome. And now for some questions that are generic, that's being asked to me by some of the people that are following me, and I
Mhm.
will just relay that to you.
Okay.
If you are to give any advice to someone that wants to find out his or her own career path, how would
Mhm.
you suggest that they should identify their career path?
Um, okay, I would, it's not necessarily a formula,
Mm,
but I would say the prerequisite for all of that is to, first of all, just understand one massive thing, and that is there's no one way of doing anything. So, like, once they have that in mind, once they understand that, so they're like, I don't have to be like person A that has excelled in the career, or person B that has excelled in the career. I don't have to be a doctor or what. I could be a doctor here, or like I could be whatever it is, whatever career path you're within, or if you want to move from that career to a different one and you're like looking outwards to see who succeeded and how, that's not the way to go. Like there's no one way of doing it. You
no.
need to set your own path, right? And it's not easy. It's really not fun, and it makes no sense until it does, right?
Mm,
So that's the first thing that I would say. There's just no one way of doing anything,
mm,
and then from there, it's just understanding what you're good at and what you think is right. So I'll give you an example here. I have a friend of mine that's a doctor, and
mhm,
like he did MD, like he did med, he went to med school, and he has like a couple of years now,
mhm,
and he said, and he was wondering like, okay, so Yvonne, I've come to a point where I have to be a doctor, and I
mhm.
want to be a doctor, but I just don't want to be a doctor the way doctors are doctors. Does that make sense? So I, I was like, oh, I really like it when I go to someone, like they say sick and I'm at home, and this is what hurts when I walk like that. This is what happens. I was like, so you would want to like work with people personally? And he was like, yeah, like stuff like that. Because then every client, every patient that would come into the hospital, like
Mm,
I would want to focus on this one patient and understand them and cure them. I don't like this thing where I have to like jump from patient to patient to patient. I just want to like focus on one patient, help them
okay.
out, and then bounce into a new one. And I was like,
Mm,
oh, so basically you want to be like a contractor, but in medicine. He was like, yeah, but then nothing like that happens in Tanzania, and like it's not a thing. And I was like, but have you tried it? Right?
yeah.
So he proceeded. Like the first patient that came into the hospital that day, he went to them. It was a child. It was he went to her and was like, well, your child is fine now, but I could continue to come over to your home and see how he's doing. And the patient was like, I would absolutely love that. Here is hectic. There's traffic. There's everything that's happening in the middle. Like, I would really love it if you could make time to actually come to my place. And he was like, okay, cool. Cool. So automatically he made that as one of his clients, and then proceeded to go to like a different patient. And with time, he has like 12 patients, and he did this like 2 months ago. So now he has 12 patients, and he's like, I understand the medical history, I understand what is wrong with them, how they grew up, blah blah blah. I've never loved medicine more than I do now. So all of a sudden, like, it feels like he's actually making an impact that he would have loved to make, other than just being like generically a doctor, something that he would have ended up doing. So with that, he has found his own path, and he's doing it the way he's doing it. So there's really no one way of doing things. It's, if you feel like there's something that's itching you, that I would want to do things like this, then try it out. So try it out. No one way of doing things. And if someone is doing it in the world, you can do it, and so much better probably. Because if you like what someone else is doing, it means you have that passion for it. And because of that, you probably can do it so much better if you just like go for it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And before I forget, so this one massive lesson that is basically leading my life now, and that is learn to learn. It's basically just always be ready to teach yourself to do things.
Yeah.
And I don't mean teach yourself to become an engineer. I don't mean teach yourself to do anything, because I'll tell you, everything that I am right now, I've somehow taught myself. I said, I think I would want to work with websites. I think I would want to paint right now. I think, and all of these things, like, I just sort of taught myself by like looking at how other people are doing it, asking someone, hey, how do you make that thing look like a gradient on a canvas with paint? I can only do that on a computer. And I said, yeah, I just mix it like so. And then I tried it. So like, just always just learning concept of like learning to learn, like always being, because the world is changing, like you said, like right now with COVID happening, and maybe your skill set is now irrelevant. Whatever it is that you were doing all of a sudden has become irrelevant, because everything is just jumping online, everything is happening digitally. So if you have that skill set of learning to learn, it means you'll just teach yourself how to be, from whatever you can do, making it relevant to the change. It has to go hand in hand with your ability to always wanting to learn. So you need to learn, continuously learn, so that you can grow and stay relevant in whatever change that is happening in any time T, so to say.
Awesome. That is very, very practical change management. I love it.
Yes.
Okay. So we talked about, how does one identify and go about his or her own path. And now, let's say that somebody has jumped into something like the way you said about this doctor that wanted to try something very different about the way doctors would work. So what kind of challenges could somebody expect that should be aware of? They should be aware of that. I mean, once you start something on your own, it doesn't, it's not a very smooth sailing boat. You will have challenges. So what do you think? Yeah.
So challenges is, so first of all, of course, there will be challenges. That's to be expected. And most of the challenges will not only be like external, things like, say, visas not coming through, or employers not responding after like you reaching so close to being employed, or like all of these external things that could like hinder your progress towards whatever it is that you want to achieve. There are those, but then there is a massive challenge that is within, and that's imposter syndrome, right? So just feeling like you cannot fit in, like you cannot do something, like something is just, who am I to be able to do something like that? Like, who am I to achieve my dreams? And what dreams? Like, I can't have such dreams being a girl in Tanzania. I can have these dreams being a girl, or I can have these dreams being my race, or blah, blah, stuff like that. So the biggest challenges are the challenges within, because once we face those, there's like, you're not stuck anymore. You have nothing to lose. You'll just move towards every other challenge there is that is external. So I would say that first look within. So for these things like imposter syndrome, or just not believing in yourself, or laziness, or just this with discipline, or like all of these in like things that are within you. Once you have these tackled, there aren't any external challenges that you will not be able to face. Yeah.
That is awesome. challenge within. Yeah, fix that first.
Yes.
Um, all right. I said if you were to give top three important advice or points one should note before getting into something, commitment, before giving the commitment.
Oh, okay, awesome. So the first thing I would say is like choosing your struggles. I think picking your struggles, so to say. I think that's the phrase that would go, and that is if you choose to, from a very generic point. So I'm explaining this point of like choosing your battles and choosing your struggles. Like if you say, I aspire to become a wife, right? I aspire to become a wife with children, right? So yes, that's a good dream. That's an amazing dream, but that's not what you should be looking at. You should be looking at, am I really ready for the struggles that come with being a wife and with children, right? So I would say if you want to become a graphic designer, that will come with struggles of maybe payment tardiness. Clients would pay you when they feel like paying you. You would have, like, you would probably have clients always coming to you and saying, change this, change that. So feedback, you need to be very open to feedback. You need to not take things personally. So like these are some of the struggles that come with being a graphic designer. So if you pick these struggles and you're okay with them, then say, I want to be a graphic designer. So I would say that's the first thing. And the second thing, if you are really like transitioning from, say, point A, if it's from you've just graduated to a new job, or you're moving from a full-time job to becoming a freelancer or like a consultant and stuff like that, I would say always have a cushion to fall on. Like practically speaking, you have to have a cushion from savings, or you could say, okay, if all goes bad, I could always go to my parents and live with my parents, or I have my husband that is like can support me. So in as much as they say entrepreneurship, I don't know, like life is all about taking risks and things like that, but take calculated risks. Have a cushion to fall on at all times. That way you can move more confidently. Right?
Yeah.
You won't feel like, oh, let me try, but if it doesn't work out for the first time, I'm gonna run because what if, what if, what if? So it reduces a lot of what ifs, just having a cushion to fall on.
Yeah.
And I would say the third thing is like have fun, like just don't be too serious with anything. So let's say with my graphic design, with how I speak to my clients, with how I do it, like I'm very playful and cheerful with whatever it is that I'm doing. If it's painting, I don't go, if I'm serious and like all that, then is this like good work? Then is this serious work? No, like just have fun with it. Then can you love it? Because even if you're doing your dream job, even if you're a painter and you've been wanting to be a painter your whole life, and now painting is all about like hard meetings and having to sit with clients with anger and stuff like that. It won't pan out. So have fun, be happy. Yes, yes. So I would say yeah, but the first two definitely just choose your battles.
Yeah.
Understand what you're stepping into. Don't just step into it not knowing what are the bad things associated with whatever it is that you're jumping into. And the second thing would be to have a cushion to fall on, so that you can be more confident as you try it out. Yes.
Super. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Any thoughts that you might have missed you want to say?
Yeah, I would say that beyond like beyond whatever it is that you're doing, like focus, like always have your constants. And by constants, I mean your family and your friends, and if you have a partner, then your partner, and things like that. Always make sure that you make time and you focus more on those, because in times of change, these are the things that remain constant. Like these are the people and things that actually remain constant and ground you while there's like massive winds shifting you from place to place. But these are the things that remain constant and you carry yourself with throughout the changes that are happening in your life. So I would say just make sure that you invest your time, emotions, and everything onto these people, and they continue to remain constant. Because even while I was going through COVID, I would tell you that these are the things and are the people that kept me grounded, that kept me going. Because I knew no matter what, if everything goes, they were my cushions. If everything goes bad, I still have this in my life. Yeah. So keep that in mind. That's like the personal thing I would like to add into that.
Definitely. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody was to reach you out for web designing or painting or art, how do they reach you?
Okay, so they just reach me on like my email or my phone number. I'm still reconstructing my website right now. It has become a lot bigger. It only had paintings and graphic design,
Okay.
so I'm still reconstructing. But they could reach out to me on email. This is Evon at evoncreatives.art.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Evon at evoncreatives.art.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh man, this was a lovely chat. I had so much fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for picking my mind. Yeah.
This is fun, and I'm sure a lot of people would have gained something out of this. Thank you very much. Have a nice, beautiful day.
Have a lovely day too.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Wow, this was an amazing episode with Evon Evance. I'm so happy to have learned a lot about how one can manage to have many interests and also deliver on the same simultaneously by having a good structure around. And I truly hope you also liked the same way I did. Okay, let me just try to do this. Okay. That was Danish sunlight. Doesn't happen many times, so I just enjoyed it for a while. Okay, if you are liking such episodes and wanting to know more, please do leave your comments in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you get more of this content. And also remember to check out the playlist, the GLAC What Next series, Change Management in Practice, if you want to know more about what is coming up next and meet up with people of very interesting background that can share so much with you. This is exactly how we are building this community and sharing our thoughts and challenges and learning change management in practice. Thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.